This video provides a brief introduction to Cluster 6, Food, Bioeconomy, Natural Resources, Agriculture and Environment under the Horizon Europe program. The Cluster 6, Food, Bioeconomy, Natural Resources, Agriculture and Environment mandate is to provide opportunities to strengthen and balance environmental, social and economic goals, and to set human economic activities on a path towards sustainability. Its underlying paradigm is the need for transformative change in the EU economy and society to reduce environmental degradation, halt and reverse biodiversity decline, and better manage natural resources while meeting the EU's climate objectives and ensuring food and water security. As such, the work program for Cluster 6 outlines expected impacts in terms of preservation and restoration of biodiversity and ecosystems, as well as food and nutrition security, sustainable and circular management of natural resources, climate neutrality and adaptation to climate change, balanced development of rural, coastal and urban areas, and finally, innovative governance models enabling sustainability and environmental observation. In this session, we will present a few calls from Horizon Europe's Cluster 6, with their corresponding destinations that were chosen due to their more generalized impact. Please note that there are several innovation action calls that we do not present, and therefore a list will be provided at the end of the video. If any of these calls are more relevant to you, we will be happy to discuss these with you in a meeting. Also, if you need a higher level introduction to Horizon Europe and the terminology used, we made a separate video for that. So please see that first before continuing this video. One of the destinations under Cluster 6 will support a credible pathway that helps to halt and eliminate pollution to guarantee clean and healthy soils, air, and fresh and marine water for all. In addition, it will ensure that natural resources are used and managed in a sustainable and circular manner. The next destination under Cluster 6 supports activities that will advance solutions for climate environmentally friendly practices to reduce emissions of major greenhouse gases and other pollutants and the environmental impact of ocean and land use changes and agricultural activities. R&I, new technologies and business models are expected to unlock the full potential of land use change, and forestry activities in the mitigation of climate change. Proposals should set out credible pathways that contribute to climate action on land, including forest land, grassland, cropland, and wetland, as well as on oceans and water. Under the last destination in Cluster 6, transdisciplinary R&I with a strong social, behavioral, and humanities sciences dimension, which pays attention to gender aspects, will enable sustainable, balanced, equitable, and inclusive development and management of rural, coastal, and urban areas in 3 different ways. Proposals should set out a credible pathway to achieving resilient, inclusive, just, healthy, and green rural, coastal, and urban communities. The work program for Cluster 6 presents the following calls where we in the current video focus specifically on the last 3. The first topic we will present in the session belongs under clean environment and zero pollution. The second topic belongs under land, ocean, and water for climate action. And the third and last topic belongs under resilient, inclusive, healthy, and green rural, coastal, and urban communities. For all calls, we encourage you to check the call text specifically for more specific information on what the proposal should include and target, as well as expected synergies with other projects, networks, and initiatives. The first topic we will present in this video is dedicated to demonstrating how regions can operate within safe, ecological, and regional nitrogen and phosphorus boundaries. For this topic, successful proposals should deliver a set of measures to limit NMP emissions and rebalance NMP flows within safe ecological boundaries at the regional and local scales. Projects' results are expected to contribute to all the following expected outcomes. 1. Best practice, including technical and governance solutions to reduce NMP emissions into water, air, and soil from all emitting sectors in line with relevant EU limit values. 2. Demonstrated environmental, economic, and behavioral effects of aforementioned NMP limiting solutions while promoting local and regional sustainability and circular economy schemes. 3. comprehensive guidance on sustainable and circular practices to control regional NMP flows at the regional level in the EU, and recommendations to relevant actors, such as policymakers, local administrations, practitioners, industries, etc. In terms of scope, proposals should demonstrate how to apply optimized NMP budgets based on maximum allowable inputs of NMP at a regional river basin scale, and create the necessary systemic and multi-actor transition pathways to ensure a sustainable, integrated NMP management in the future. The aim is to show how NMP-relevant sectors in a given region can limit NMP emissions to air, water, and soil from their activities by respecting pre-established regional NMP budgets and applying NMP balancing practices. For that, proposals should 1. Implement a reliable NMP budgeting methodology to identify the maximum allowable input of NMP at the regional river basin scale and ensure good status for air, water, and soil ecosystems. 2. Demonstrate region-specific practices to balance NMP-based fertilizer emissions in agriculture, improve soil health, curb eutrophication and water pollution, and minimize harmful air emissions. 3. Showcase governance models promoting sustainable use, recovery, and exchange of NMP resources between urban, industrial, and rural coastal areas, aligning with EU objectives, farm-to-fork and biodiversity strategies. 4. Test innovative practices and technologies to make use of secondary raw materials and produce NMP-based fertilizers recovered from organic waste, wastewater, biological residues, or byproducts, and promote local and regional value chains. 5. Develop guidelines and recommendations for stakeholders supporting novel governance approaches, incentives to limit NMP emissions, to encourage behavioral change and public acceptance of recovery products, as well as more effective problem-solving mechanisms, while envisaging regional twinning and mentoring schemes. 6. Disseminate results and best practices to all stakeholders and provide recommendations on the design of harmonized, coherent, and efficient regional policies and regulatory instruments that facilitate eliminating and preventing NMP pollution. The second topic we present in this video is called Paludiculture, large-scale demonstrations. This topic will support the European Green Deal and the EU Biodiversity Strategy for 2030. Earth's natural terrestrial carbon sinks, in particular peatlands and wetlands, are expected to play a crucial role in reaching EU climate objectives, thanks to the conservation and restoration of ecosystems with large potential for carbon sequestration. Projects' results are expected to contribute to all the following expected outcomes. 1. Practical options for the development of paludiculture and pathways for the conversion of degraded organic agriculture and forest soils to paludiculture are demonstrated. 2. Recommendations for the approach to be taken toward large-scale deployment of paludiculture are developed. 3. The carbon sequestration potential of paludiculture is quantified, including an assessment of its potential contribution to the achievements of EU targets. Project activities should 1. Establish large-scale paludiculture demonstration in 3 areas of at least 50 hectares each. 2. Involve all relevant actors, farmers, foresters, scientists, advisors, local regional public authorities, industry, etc., throughout the different stages of project development and implementation. 3. Consider the potential for activities demonstrated in the projects to be replicated and scaled up, and to this end, develop recommendations for policymakers and land managers. In addition, projects should include a dedicated task and allocate appropriate resources to collaborate with other projects funded under this topic and with projects supported through topic on socioeconomic aspects of paludiculture. And where relevant, build links with projects funded under Horizon Europe missions. The third and last topic presented in this video is focused on innovating for climate-neutral rural communities by 2050. The successful proposal will contribute to fostering a sustainable, balanced, equitable, and inclusive development of rural areas, supporting the implementation of the long-term vision for the EU's rural areas and its objectives and other EU initiatives. Project results are expected to contribute to all the following expected outcomes. 1. Rural communities are empowered and engaged in the green transition and equipped with strategies and innovative solutions to contribute to the EU's climate neutrality objectives by 2035 and 2050 and benefit from a climate neutral economy. 2. Rural communities take advantage of data, interoperable platforms, and digital technologies available to help them meet climate neutrality objectives, such as dashboards, data visualization techniques, modeling, digital twins of entire rural communities, and tools contributing to spatial planning. 3. Policymakers are better informed about policy and regulatory frameworks, conditions, and processes that are likely to encourage rural areas' climate neutrality while sustaining adequate social welfare and well-being and avoiding negative social, economic, and environmental externalities. 4. A stronger rural innovation ecosystem is in place to bring together public and private players and making rural areas an attractive place for innovators to work and live. Considering that approximately 1/3 of EU citizens live in rural areas, which represents 83% of the EU territory, it is key to empower rural communities to transit towards sustainability by fostering innovation in key areas such as environment and sustainable management of resources, air, soil, water, energy, transport, agriculture, industry, bioeconomy, and finance, and ensure that no one is left behind. Projects funded under this topic are expected to 1. Design, prototype, and test concrete innovations, technical, social, organizational, supporting climate neutrality, zero pollution, and biodiversity enhancement in rural communities, possibly including initiatives such as nature-based solutions, NBS, circularity and bioeconomy, bio-based solutions, community energy systems, climate neutral mobility, fire prevention, etc. Innovations should be co-created with rural stakeholders to respond to their needs and tested for their feasibility for the territorial development opportunities or drawbacks that they bring. 2. Include training and capacity building for local administrations and rural stakeholders to create and maintain a rural innovation ecosystem and enable them to make use of or benefit from the successful innovations developed and from existing funding opportunities for the green and digital transitions. 3. Boost networking and enhance peer-to-peer learning between communities and capitalize on lessons learned, making them available as recommendations for policymakers at various levels: European, national, regional, and local. Proposals are encouraged to fully exploit and build complementarities with the ongoing work regarding the establishment of the European Open Science Cloud and are expected to build on the preliminary results of specific Horizon Europe projects. Moreover, proposals should involve the effective contribution of social sciences and humanities and cover various biogeographical regions. In this list, you will find the other topics under clean environment and zero pollution, with one single stage call with deadline 22nd of February 2024 and one two-stage call with stage 1 deadline at the same date and stage 2 deadline September 17th, 2024. And land, ocean, and water for climate action with two-stage calls to the same deadlines as in the previous list. And finally, resilient, inclusive, healthy, and green rural, coastal, and urban communities with one single stage call and one two-stage call, also to the same deadlines as in the previous lists. If you would like to discuss an innovation action and the potential fit for your company, we will be happy to set up a meeting. Please send an email to me or any of my colleagues.